Imagine opening your front door one cold morning in medieval Europe. The streets are silent, no children are playing, no merchants are shouting, only the slow sound of church bells echoes through the empty city. A horse-drawn cart rolls past your house, but it isn't carrying food, it's carrying dead bodies. The driver shouts only two terrifying words: "Bring out your dead." This wasn't a nightmare, this was Europe during the Black Death. The deadliest pandemic the continent had ever seen. Between 1347 and 1353, millions of people vanished from the face of the earth. Some historians estimate that 30 to 60% of Europe's population died in just 6 years. No war, no king, no invading army has ever killed so many Europeans in such a short time. But where did this invisible killer come from? The story begins thousands of miles away in Asia. Merchant caravans traveled along the Silk Road carrying silk, spices, gold, and precious goods. Hidden among those goods were black rats. Living on those rats were tiny infected fleas carrying a deadly bacterium called Yersinia pestis. In 1347, trading ships arrived at the Sicilian port of Messina. As sailors stepped off the ships, many were already dying. Their bodies were covered in black swellings. Their skin had turned dark. Many were bleeding internally. Some died before they even reached the shore. But it was already too late. The rats escaped the ships. The fleas spread into the cities. Within weeks, the disease exploded across Europe. The symptoms were horrifying. It started with a sudden fever. Then came unbearable headaches. Victims became too weak to stand. Painful swellings called buboes appeared under the arms, around the neck, and near the legs. Soon the skin began turning black because blood vessels were breaking beneath it. Many victims coughed blood. Others became delirious. Most died within 3 to 5 days. There was no cure, no vaccine, no antibiotics. Doctors had absolutely no idea what they were fighting. Some believed the air itself had become poisoned. Others believed strange planets had cursed humanity. Many thought God was punishing mankind for its sins. Fear spread even faster than the disease. Parents abandoned their children. Children abandoned their parents. Neighbors locked their doors and refused to help anyone. Entire families died inside their homes with no one left alive to bury them. Cities became ghost towns. The smell of death filled the streets. Church bells rang from sunrise to sunset. Mass graves were dug outside city walls because cemeteries could no longer hold the dead. One of the strangest figures to appear during this time was the plague doctor. Dressed in a long black coat, leather gloves, and a terrifying bird-like mask, these doctors became symbols of the pandemic. Inside the long beak of the mask, they packed herbs, flowers, spices, and perfume. They believed pleasant smells could block the deadly disease. Today we know those masks offered very little real protection, but they remain one of history's most haunting images. By 1353, the Black Death had swept across almost every corner of Europe. Entire villages disappeared forever. Thousands of homes stood empty. Some towns lost more than half of their population. Fields were abandoned, trade collapsed, food became scarce, governments struggled to survive. Even kings, nobles, priests, and wealthy merchants were powerless against the plague. Death had become the great equalizer. Yet from this unimaginable disaster, Europe slowly began to change. With millions of workers gone, surviving laborers became more valuable. Farmers demanded higher wages. Common people gained greater freedom. The old feudal system began to weaken. Medicine slowly advanced as people searched for real scientific answers instead of superstition. Historians believe the Black Death reshaped Europe's economy, society, and future more than almost any other event in the Middle Ages. Today, we know the truth.
No war.
The Black Death was caused by the bacterium Yersinia pestis, spread mainly by fleas carried on rodents, although some forms of plague could also spread between people through respiratory droplets. With modern antibiotics, plague can now usually be treated successfully if diagnosed early. But over 650 years ago, humanity had no defense. One invisible bacterium changed the course of history forever. It destroyed kingdoms, silenced cities, and left scars that Europe would carry for centuries. The Black Death wasn't just a pandemic. It was the moment history itself changed forever.